Welcome to Tutorial 2 Part 2. Just to recap, in Part 1 we created a floor plan of our ground floor, and in Part 2 we'll now add our doors and windows. There is also an introduction video for doors and windows which you can also look at prior to watching this video. Right, we're going to add our windows to our 2D view, so we will make the 2D view the active view. And we will then select the Windows Construction tool in the Build-in tab. And this activates the Windows Constructions Properties dialog. And in this dialog you can change just about every detail concerning a window, but we will just accept the defaults. But before we start placing the windows, make sure that your ground floor is in fact your current floor layer. And we'll also hide our guidelines. So now I'll select the window tool, but first I think I'll just zoom in so that you can see better what I'm doing. I could place the window with a left click, but instead I'll right click to activate the context menu to show the constructional support tools, and this will allow me to set the window midway between 2 points. This constructional support tool is very powerful, allowing you to place most building components such as windows exactly. You'll also see in the context menu keyboard abbreviations which you can use directly, meaning you don't actually have to open the context menu every time. For instance, instead of selecting center point, I can just press M on the keyboard. Control W also works with this, allowing you to select the snapping edge of the object that you're actually placing. I just want to show my 3D view again, rearrange my views so that I can demonstrate that you can also insert windows in the 3D view and the 2D view gets updated automatically. You can also select objects in the 3D view as well as the 2D view, but it's always a lot easier to select and work on objects in the 2D view instead of the 3D view. Right, that's our windows entered. I think we'll add some doors now. You can select the door tool from the build-in tab, select the door, and in the catalogue we can choose the door type. We're going to enter a front door here. We use this one, and we can change the size. Let's just change this to 1 meter and make this 2 meter high, and we can view the door in the preview by clicking on the 3D button. So click OK, we'll accept those other defaults, and I can now place the door, but I want to place the door central between the two walls there. So I can use the center point, but I've got nothing here to snap to on that wall. So what I'm going to do is zoom in. So you can see what I'm going to do. I'm going to enable the guidelines again so that I can snap between the two guidelines, which will be a midway point. So select my door, place the door on the wall, but right click to activate the support menu, select center, and now I can place the door centrally. If I double click on the door, I can activate the properties menu where I can actually change the details of the door again, including the hinge side, of which whether I'm actually hinging on left or right. If I right click on the door, I also can make the same changes from the context menu. Right, let's I can see a mistake. The height of my window should be the same or similar height as the door. So if I double click on the window there, I can see that yes, its height is in fact set to 1.50 m. It should have been less than that. It should have been 1.10 m. So I'll just change that to 1.10 m and OK. Now that rectifies that window. What about all the other windows? I can select that window, right click and select Transfer Properties. This will allow me to transfer the properties of this window to all other windows. So I'm going to keep all my properties set there, say Next. I can selectively select the target windows, but no, I'm going to select all windows, so Finish, and all the windows in the project are automatically updated with the same property change, that is the height. I now realise that my floor to ceiling height is incorrect, so what we're going to do is change the property value for the floor to ceiling height. And yes, it's 2.80 is the default, so I'm going to change that to 230. Select OK, and you'll notice that my floor to ceiling height of all my walls changes. Right, now we shall add some internal doors. So again, we'll select the door tool from the building tab, and we can right click to get the door property and look for an internal door. In the catalogue, we'll use this door. Again, if I click on the 3D button, I can look at the preview, and I'll change the width to 90 and the height is again 2 meters, and I can save that as a default for future use of the door. And so if I now zoom in here, if I now go to my door, select positioning, and I'll now just place my other doors, and I'm not using any placement tools here, I'm just clicking. You can of course place the doors exactly using the this door won't fit, I'll come back to that one. My wall is too narrow to fit a door. Yes, you can of course use the constructional tools to place doors. Let's go into my door. Change the opening direction, etc. And I've just got one more door to change. I'm going to change the size of a door to insert here. So select the door, and I'll change this door width, it's a narrow door, and make that 80.8 of a meter, and this time the door will fit. And place the door, change the hinge direction, opening direction and hinge side for this one. So that's all my doors placed. You'll just see both views, show all, 3D and 2D. You can now see the doors in 3D view. Just show that I can in fact place a door in 3D view if I wish, but again, like the windows, it's a lot easier to place doors in the 2D view. Let's place a door in what will become the utility room. Make that point 90 again. We can change the door style later. It's not an ideal utility room door. We'll come back to that. Hide my guidelines. Right, that's doors and windows complete. I think all we need to do now is save the project. We go to File, Save As, and we'll save this as Tutorial 2.2. Okay, which you can now load if you wish.